Welcome back to Ultimate Combat Radio with your host, Mike Stidham, on 1280 and 97.5 The Zone.
Welcome back to the Big Show. Mike Stidham here talking some mixed martial arts on Ultimate Combat Radio, brought to you by Aztec Highway. Now, we did actually have some folks texting into the show this evening, and one in particular, I don't know if it's a male or female, but their text number is 9144, and they profess to be a new fan. And they said, fighting is way more exciting than Boar Bowl. And me and my two boys love it. So with that, you just kind of won our hearts over. Old Robertino over there got a little tear in her eye. Said, you know what? We can't just give them 2 passes because Brandon Kaiser is a little too smart for that. He did the math and said, she's got 2 boys. We need to give them 4 passes. So we're going to give 4 passes to go see the UFC 143 in 3D Saturday, February 4th at Century 16 Theater. Now, here's the caveat. You got to come out to the Ultimate Combat Training Center tomorrow. We're going to be there from 11 till about 1 o'clock filming an episode of Damage Control. And so come on out, say hello to Brandon Kaiser and Brian Yamasaki as they're filming their Damage Control segment. We'll give you these passes. I don't know what your name is, but if you come in and say, well, Robertina's going to figure it out. She's texting.
We're
all
good.
Right,
we're
all over it. So anyway, let's talk some co-laser.
All right. Co-laser.
So Dr. Tim Goodwin, of course, is with Goodwin Chiropractic out on 12300 South in the Treehouse Fitness Center building there, and does all kinds of cool stuff. Really helped my son out in preparation for the regional wrestling tournament. So lots of love to him for that. And so what is this cold laser therapy you speak of?
You know, it's funny you say that because laser's gaining a lot of momentum. You know, laser's been around for 40 years, and anytime you shine a red light on someone and tell them that it works, they all give me that crazy cold laser look. I was going to say they give you that crazy look because what the heck can a light do shining on somebody that doesn't feel? Well, cold laser's gaining a lot of momentum. It comes to the United States from Lance Armstrong's chiropractor, Jeff Spencer. So let's just dive right into it. The way the body works, everything has a resonance, and the resonance of the human body happens to be 635 nanometers of wavelength. What that means is that your body has energy coming out of it. A cold laser runs at that same frequency of healing. So when you can activate that frequency, you can really turn on a lot of things. The most unique thing about cold laser is that it's the ability to actually promote and enhance healing, not just treat symptoms. So what I mean, Mike, is this, okay? As someone gets injured, we get swelling. Swelling equals pain. So this is the way I explain cold laser. If I wanted you and your boy to dig me a swimming pool and you guys were out there with shovels.
Is it because we're brown?
Yeah, exactly. You thought you could do it. It would take a long time. But now, if I bring you 100 people with shovels, it's going to get done faster. This is what cold laser does. Cold laser increases the energy of cells. And when you can increase the energy of cells, you can increase the healing time. And that's what the wow factor of cold laser is. And a lot of people, I said it for 4 or 5 years now, it's starting to be on billboards. People are starting to see it. A number of professional athletes are starting to use it. And it's becoming a fascinating healing, especially for the fighting world, because there's always bruises, there's always ligaments, there's always tears. So, there's a lot. You go to your orthopedic doctor, they're going to fill you with pain medicine and say, 12, 14, 16 weeks. One of the fighters I've been working with, my boy Josh Berkman, of course, the People's Warrior, we've got him put back together a lot of times with cold laser, and I think he would tell you too. He's a huge fan of what cold laser can do. And it's a fascinating therapeutic tool that I think the listeners out here can use.
Now, I've watched you administer it on several occasions, and I see you'll have somebody try to resist if you push against their arm or something, and I've watched it happen, and I don't know how much of it is hocus pocus, but I watched their hand get moved very easily, and you zap them with some laser, and then their hand doesn't move very easily. What's going on there?
Okay, that's called the muscle test, and that's what we talk about with cold laser. A couple ways to use cold laser. One of the ways is you can point it over an injured area and point and shoot. So you're going to activate some cells. You're going to increase some healing time. What you're talking about is point reflex testing, and this is what happens with shoulder injuries. Who doesn't have a nagging shoulder injury, okay? Yeah. When something happens, usually one muscle stops working, and therefore another muscle keeps working. So what we do is we test the muscle, and we want to find out if the muscle is firing or strong or can lock or you can hold it. If you find a weakness in that muscle, we laser over the nerve that controls that muscle, and literally we can turn that muscle back on. And that is the secret sauce. And this is all, again, Lance Armstrong's technique, because if we find muscles that are weak and we turn them back on, you're going to increase performance.
And I guess I don't want to make it sound like I thought it was hocus pocus, because you do it to me, and you're pushing the same amount, and I see my hand move, and then I see my hand not move.
Well,
So
your son was a perfect example. He comes in, I go to start working on his shoulder, he has no range of motion. We start turning those nerves on. He was shut down. His deltoid was shut down. His tricep was shut down. Comes back the next day, we start shutting the muscles down and turning the muscles back on. By the third day, he is just doing unbelievably better, and now all the power's back. So yeah, my range of motion is so much better, and that's the amazing thing about cold laser. The problem is if people can't feel it, so they don't see it on TV. Welcome to what humans know. They know what's on the radio, and hopefully this radio show, or on TV. So it really freaks them out when they don't see it or they can't understand it.
I got to tell you, all season long, he came off the mat complaining about his shoulder all season long. And, unfortunately, things didn't go well for him in the region tournament. But I asked him after his matches, I said, how's your shoulder? He says, man, it feels great. I mean, it feels like we just popped it back into place, and it just feels great. So whatever that injury was, whatever that nagging that was going on, and he's not the complainer type. This kid's, he's a nose to the grindstone kind of kid. So, he just kept – and it was not, when I wasn't watching, he was always just complaining about his shoulder, and then all of a sudden for him to say that it's fine. I don't know how much of that was psychosomatic. I don't know, but he feels like you cured him.
Yeah. Well, that's the great thing about healing, and everybody always wants to know. All I give a crap about is that if it's working or not.
Right.
If we can fake it work, it's working.
Yeah.
They say the placebo affects 33% of the people.
Right. So
So just imagine if we actually put that into our national debt, and the 33% of the people weren't using the debt money, then we have a different deal. That's the thing about being a fighter, and that's what I talk about a lot, is what are you doing? You're training, you got to be eating right, and you got to be getting rehab. And we're going to start shooting some segments here on DamageControlMMA.com, so we can start putting some of this stuff up. And then UCE Radio, we're going to start having some stuff too, where people can go and get this information, because I don't want them filling all my office. Fill your other chiropractors. Go and get a chiropractor that's doing cold laser. But this stuff is for real.
Now, I want him to go to your office. That's where I want to head him to. But I want Brandon to come on back up here and get on the microphone, because you mentioned damage control, and this is something it's been on my notes here to mention all show. Tomorrow you're doing some taping, and you guys have had some tremendous success. Can you kind of lay the foundation of your viewership and that kind of stuff that goes on? First of all, what is damage control?
Damage control is a place for people to go online and learn how to do MMA, and we cover everything from health, nutrition, training, strength training, technical training, boxing, kickboxing, the whole deal. People can go to Damage Control. They can learn all of these things for MMA. If they're in a situation where they're in a small town, there's not an MMA gym, and they have a group of friends they get together with, but they need some guidance, and they have direct access to Yamasaki and myself. It's one of the 5 largest MMA training websites in the world, and it's kind of funny. People come into Mushin sometimes to sign up, and I'll come down to sign them up, and they'll go, "Hey, you're the guy from Damage Control. What are you doing here? Are you doing a seminar?" And I'm like, "This is where I'm at," and they're stoked. So it's really cool. It's really spread from just trying to cater to those people that didn't have access to a gym, and now we get emails all the time of people that are saying, "Hey, we're using those tricks against the guys at the gym that we do train at." So,
right. Well, it's funny, because if you go onto YouTube and you say punch in MMA armbar or something like that, you guys are among the top. Whatever that shows up on almost just about any search on YouTube.
Yeah. We just really got into this early, and we have a great web team that puts all this stuff together and makes the internet work for us and with us. And it's been one of my favorite projects we've ever taken on. And I'm so excited that tomorrow we're going to stop by UCTC. We're going to film a couple of techniques with you and your team, and then we're going to shoot over to Dr. Tim's place, and we're going to pick his brain a little bit about chiropractics and nutrition and all that stuff.
Here's
man.
What you don't realize, man, is when we got to fight a Mushin guy, we go on to YouTube and we watch this stuff. So we're just going to give you fake stuff tomorrow, man.
Okay, fair enough, man.
All right, but hey, I'm looking forward to it, Brandon, because there really is a wealth of knowledge in that stuff. And do you know what you're going to be covering with Dr. Tim tomorrow?
Yes, I am going to pick his brain about chiropractics and all that kind of good stuff and nutrition. So.
All right, well, good stuff, man. Come check us out tomorrow at Ultimate Combat Training Center inside the VF Factory Outlet Mall. Otherwise, we'll see you next week right here on Ultimate Combat Radio.